Okay, it's a new week in our class on layout. It's February 5th, and so we're going to talk about layout and prepare for a project that is upcoming on graphic design. So you're going to have to do some graphic design for the next project. But just looking back a little bit at the graphic manipulation or photo manipulation project from last week. So a lot of you kind of missed the part where you're supposed to submit to me the, the resize photo. And this one's kind of an important one, actually. The resize photo doesn't mean resizing the frame in which your picture takes place or the size of it on the screen. It means the file size of the picture. And that's a real important one, because in web design, when you put a photo up online, you have to have a smaller file size for your photos. You can't have a large, high resolution photo. And so many of you kind of missed that one. Maybe you submitted to me the GIMP version of the file, the XCF version. But in order for me to be able to grade that, you actually have to export it from GIMP and put it into and make it into a JPEG picture that is smaller than 20 kilobytes big. And so that's something to know about. It's important for web design to have photos that are small in file size. If you have large ones, they don't load quickly, and it won't load your website quickly enough. So you don't want them too big. You want them to be small pictures, but you also want to balance or toe the line between having too small of a picture that doesn't look very good and the right size of a picture that is small enough to load quickly. So that's the reason for the resize picture, and some of you had missed that, but not all, of course. All right, so due next week will be an assignment on graphic design. It's a graphic design project, and I wanted to take a look at that first, of course, so we know where we're headed. For this project, you have to create a well-designed poster or flyer, and I think a poster is probably easier to do, so that's where I want to maybe send you or lean you toward. But a flyer works as well. And the poster must also take advantage of, let's see, all elements of the poster must be copyright free, meaning released under a Creative Commons license and or created by you. Let's see, it should have a limited color scheme, use limited fonts, and that means probably just one or just 2 or 3 different fonts on there and a few different colors, and making good use of spacing as well. And so we're going to talk about how to do these things on the way there, but some of them you're going to have to figure out yourself as well. All elements must be copyright free, I mentioned that. It must also take advantage of some of the elements of design, including space, line, shape, form, size, scale, color, texture, and value, and principles of design from Chapter 5. It must have a focal point, make use of balance, and feature unity. And may also include the principles of contrast, movement, and rhythm. And it must not commit any of the 13 layout sins featured in the textbook Chapter 4, which we've, I think, read about, or we will be reading about very soon this week. So part of graphic design involves formative evaluation and improvements, even when we feel like it may be complete. And that's just part of any kind of design process. You always have to get some kind of approval from somebody before it can be complete. And often you get a lot of feedback and need to change the poster suggesting after hearing some suggested improvements to it. And so built into this assignment then is the fact that you will submit this on time, next week, by the end of next week. But after that, I will give you suggestions to improve it. So there's no perfect poster. I won't be allowing that. Instead, I will expect improvements to be made after that point as well. Even though what you submit, you will think is a finished poster, and you'll do the work to make a finished poster by then. I will give you feedback on that. That's the way that the art world works, I think, and it's also important for us to realize that we can always find ways to improve our work, even if we really like it. So that's the assignment. It's a graphic design project. Now to get there, we're going to start this week on layout. And talking about layout, you're going to read Chapter 3, I need to design this soon, Chapter 4 about layout sins, and Chapter 6 about layout itself. And pay close attention to the I need to design this layout, the Chapter 3, because that gives you a works every time layout, and if you want to, you could use that as your layout for your own poster. As you create your own poster, you can make a nice layout to it. Also this week you'll need to start working on this project pretty soon, because we're going to have a discussion about it. You're going to post a preliminary layout storyboard for your graphic design project on the discussion board. And again, it may be good to follow that works every time layout if you're not, if you don't have a lot of experience. If you do have a lot of experience in this kind of thing, maybe you can just go ahead and try out something new. But make sure you do fulfill the requirements in the assignment. And then just comment and post. You're going to have post your maybe visual or storyboard or something that might look like that. This storyboard could be something you wrote on paper, you drew on paper, and maybe you just want to take a picture of it and post it on there. Or it could be something that you're designing using Inkscape, which is the tool that we've chosen. It's an open source version of something like Adobe Illustrator or it's an open source editor, which is really nice. And I've done a lot of work with Inkscape before. And then don't forget to post by the end of Thursday this week, and then comment on at least 2 other students' posts by the end of the week. After that, you're going to be installing and learning Inkscape. So Inkscape is needed to easily arrange and organize elements into a nice layout for a poster, such as the one you'll create for your graphic design project. And so Inkscape, these are some tools about how to create some simple posters, making a logo, designing different tools in Inkscape, building shapes, and so forth. And so you'll watch these videos about how to do that as well this week as you get to know Inkscape. And that's something that you'll want to install in your computer as soon as you can as well. So that's the week basically. You're gonna look at, I forgot to mention poster inspiration too. So you can look up some of these links that will show you some kind of new or interesting designs of posters. One thing that I wanted to talk about too is making a quality poster or layout. It includes minimal information. Most posters are there just to grab your attention and tell you just a little bit about an event or activity or idea. And so it doesn't have to be rich with information, but the example designs in the book, in chapter 3 particularly, are pretty good. They have more information. For instance, there's a farmer's market example with a rooster, I think, on it. And so, that's a good amount of information, but most posters don't have to convey a lot of information. Just another tip is to make sure you have a clear focal point, that there's a clear thing that is much more bigger or much more different than other things, so that you can easily focus on that one thing. And then also title and body text should not be the same size or even near the same size to each other. So if you have a title on your poster, make sure that text for the title is way bigger than the body text. Make sure that those aren't the same size or close to the same size. And then don't forget about a limited color scheme. And next week, we'll be talking about type and color, and we'll look at some interesting ideas about learning about type and color to find a limited color scheme. So that's something to be aware of as well. But I think right now it's just an opportunity to kind of look at poster inspiration, read about posters and layout and so forth, and then maybe come up with a preliminary storyboard and post that, and start to get to learning in Inkscape and learning about that in preparation for the graphic design project due next week. So good luck this week, and it should be fun to kind of make your own graphic design. So hopefully that's the way it is for you.